Well, I think I'm not going to design a healthcare system in the next 30 seconds.
Right.
But
what you can do then, what you can do in the next 30 seconds is F.
Okay, here we go.
Nice.
March Madness coming, Final Four tomorrow. I think it's time for us to stop a moment and using the word unconscionable from our viewers to say that it is unconscionable for the state of Kentucky to pay John Calipari $4.1 million a year to supervise an extracurricular activity. You can say that being a basketball coach in Kentucky is an important job. You can say that they're just responding to the market, but maybe that's what should get the F. The market, that there's $4 million for a basketball coach. Do you know it has high unemployment in Kentucky, one of the lowest education rates, and they just cut $20 million from the state university budget and put a faculty and staff hiring freeze, and they're paying John Calipari $4 million. F, F, F.
Did you read that John Calhoun is the highest paid government official in the state of Connecticut?
I did. F, F, F to that, too.
My F goes to a sign out on 690 that you may have seen, Route 690. It's pluffing a show coming up in October for a entertainment individual named John Edward. He bills himself as a psychic medium. Tickets are going for $39 to $69, and we're talking about how bad times are here. If you look at the sign carefully down in the lower right-hand corner, it says in little tiny print, "Reading not guaranteed." Now, it doesn't take any psychic powers to conclude that anybody who buys a ticket for this is an absolute fool.
I'm giving an F to artist Sham Ibrahim for his Andy Warhol-like portrait of Rihanna's battered face from her police photo. He decided to create the portrait not to say something important or meaningful about domestic violence, but because he said it was interesting and it had some interesting shapes. Basically, this simply trivializes an already sad situation.
And I'm giving an F to the Cato Institute, a conservative or really libertarian think tank, for its full-page ad in the New York Times this week and other advertising it's been doing that claims that global climate change is not an urgent problem, and criticizing President Obama for saying otherwise. We're simply long past the time that we can wish this problem away, and listing a bunch of people with PhDs after their names in the ad is not persuasive in the least.
All right, you have to follow the timeline here. August 2008, the Newspaper Guild in Philadelphia is asked to postpone a $25 a week raise because the owners are pleading poverty of the Philadelphia Inquirer and Daily News. They agree to postpone the raise. Then in December 2008, the top 3 officials of the newspapers award themselves $650,000 in cash bonuses. Shortly after that, they put the newspapers into bankruptcy. The owners of these papers, particularly CEO Brian Tierney, just don't deserve to survive this sort of thing. And the employees and citizens of Philadelphia deserve better than these pirates who are looting what used to be 2 great newspapers in Philadelphia. Okay, quickly, A's.
My A goes to the State Department, which has decided for the first time in 8 years to run for a spot on the UN Human Rights Council. This is an imperfect institution with an imperfect membership and an imperfect record. But it's time for the United States to be involved in that organization and try to move it in the right direction. And by the way, John Bolton, former representative of the UN, thinks it's a bad idea, so that makes it pretty sure that it's a good one.
My A goes to Rachel Maddow. Now, I'm no great Maddow fan. I find her a little fluffy and a little bit too cable TV for my taste. But this past week, she did a knockdown interview with Colin Powell. She sat down, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "What happened in that room with you people? Who made the decisions on torture memos? Were you one of the ones who did it?" And Powell squirmed in his seat and suddenly realized he was actually being interviewed by this individual. It was a fabulous interview. Take a look at it online if you can find it.
I'm giving an A to the prison work crew in Hagerstown, Maryland, who kept the toddler safe for several hours while the local authorities searched for his home. The inmates fed him and kept him occupied until they located his family.
And I'm giving an A to Attorney General Eric Holder for dismissing charges against former Senator Ted Stevens of Alaska because the Bush Justice Department had committed prosecutorial misconduct for improperly withholding evidence from Stevens' lawyers during his trial. It's nice to see integrity in the Justice Department.
Well, I'm going to give an A to Congress for having passed this national service bill. which is going to increase the size of the domestic Peace Corps, or the AmeriCorps, the size of the foreign Peace Corps. I also like the fact that for people my age, they've established some senior fellow positions for individuals who are looking for a second career or have time on their hands and want to retrain and go back in and assist in areas of business, conservation, and so on. So I think this is one good thing that Congress has done lately, and most viewers know, I think, out of a raft of lots of bad things that they've done. Okay, thanks to you at home for joining us this evening. Please send your comments to the Ivory Tower Half Hour, Post Office Box 2400, Syracuse, New York, 13220, or email us at ivorytower@wcny.org. You can also view our A's and F's segment on the World Wide Web. Just go to WCNY Connected, and you're allowed to make comments on whether you agree or disagree on our grading skills. That's new. I'll look for that. Please join us again next week. This is David Rubin saying, keep debate alive.